Cascadia came out in 2021 and it's won 15 awards. Wasn't on my radar. I mean, look at it. It's an elk with mountains in the background. I'm looking for something I want to play, not for something to hang on my wall. Now, if that elk was a goblin with a sword in its hand, maybe some billowing smoke in the background, I'd have had it off the shelf and been reading the back of it and probably would have headed to the cash register with it. So how did Cascadia surprise me? In this video, I'll show you the multiple ways this game surprised me, plus how it blends a touch of Bob Ross and Steve Irwin, and whether it's actually award-worthy or it's just a cozy nature puzzle with some clever marketing. So stick around to the end, and I'm also going to give you a different lens to look through before you click that next pledge button on Kickstarter or GameFound. Let's get into it. Did you ever have a surprise birthday party thrown for you? And you were actually surprised? How did that happen? You obviously know it's your birthday. Surprise! And yet you were still surprised. Same here. I know I like board games. I've played hundreds of them. And from time to time, I like to play games on my electronic devices. So I constantly find myself searching for board games on Steam and in the App Store. Well, Cascadia ended up popping up. I think it was like $8.99 for the app. So I pulled the trigger and I got it. Now that's not surprising, me buying a digital board game. However, I went and bought the physical board game after owning the digital version. And I'd never done that with a game before. The reason why is because my son, who's 10, saw me playing Cascadia and wanted to play. And after playing it, he asked if we could get the physical board game, and snap! That's how it happened. And yes, after getting it, he wanted to play the physical version. That is a huge surprise. My son's a video gamer, and for him to ask to buy a board game when we have the digital version is as rare as a child saying no to chicken nuggets and asking for a heaping plate of broccoli.
Ew, gross.
Now the second thing that surprised me was how much this game has stuck with me. Most games that play in under 30 minutes, if I like them, I usually binge them, 3 or 4 plays in a row. But with Cascadia, it's different. I'll finish a game, feel satisfied, and move on. But then, later on that night, or sometimes the next day, I'll catch myself thinking about it again. Like, yeah, I want to get that 110 points, which I haven't gotten yet. It's not loud or addictive. It's just persistent in a peaceful way. It keeps inviting me back without demanding my attention. And that's a rare kind of staying power in a board game, especially one I didn't think twice about when I first saw the box. That kind of slow burn replayability? Yeah, definitely wasn't expecting that. And before I get to the third reason it surprised me, let me touch on the simplicity of the tile laying in this game. There's only one rule. A tile must be placed adjacent to another existing tile. That's it. This is a happy little game. The Bob Ross vibe comes through in how you build a landscape. No boundaries. Just nature tiles blending together. Forest into wetlands, mountains into rivers. Just like his paintings, it's peaceful, creative, and chill.
A little bit of land area.
Now you will score points for your biggest area of each terrain type, so contiguous terrain matters. If you can continue that mountain range and simultaneously grow that forest with the placement of just one tile, that's going to make you feel good.
I think it's fun. Right here, big tree.
Like painting a big tree in just the right spot. But the tile placement? That's more of a bonus in Cascadia. Because the majority of your points come from placing your wildlife tokens into specific scoring patterns. So paying attention to the animal icons on the terrain, that's actually more important than the terrain itself. Take a look here. This scoring card for bears. A single pair of bears gets you 4 points. But if you manage to place 4 pairs, none of them adjacent to each other, you're looking at 27 points. Now check out this hawk card. Each hawk scores only if it's not adjacent to another hawk. If you can place 8 of them spaced out just right, that's 26 points. And here's the thing. The game only lasts 20 turns. So if you want to max out bears and hawks, that's 16 out of 20 turns right there. Which means you've got some choices to make early on. Which animals am I going to focus on in this game? You'll be watching the board every turn, scanning the 4 available tile token combos, because each tile is randomly paired with an animal token. And that's the choice you make each turn. Which of these token terrain combos works best for my layout and what I'm trying to achieve? You're not exactly crocodile hunting, but make no mistake, you're absolutely tracking specific wildlife every turn. Waiting and hoping for just the right terrain token combos to show up when you need it. And Cascadia's gameplay reminds me of a particular Crocodile Hunter episode I saw, where Steve started out looking for a bear. Yes, a bear. He tracked it down, found it, but never managed to catch it.
This bear can move really quickly.
Somewhere along the way, he ended up finding a rattlesnake instead.
It's a diamondback! It's an eastern diamondback! We flushed out a huge, great big fat rattler!
And of course, he started playing with that.
No wonder the bear took off.
And that's pretty much how most of my Cascadia games go. I start off with the idea that bears and salmon are what I want to do this game. But somewhere halfway through the game, I have half a salmon run, but I find that I have 3 or 4 hawks out and almost a completed row of elk. Because once again, the bears have managed to get away from me.
I can't believe my luck!
And now the third surprise, and whether I think it's award worthy. What surprised me most about Cascadia is how much value I've gotten out of it. Even after buying both the digital and physical versions. I've only had it for about a month, and I've already played it more than games I've owned for years. And it's not because it's flashy, it's because it's accessible, quick to set up, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. And for now, it keeps making its way back to my table. You see, the rulebook includes a list of achievements you can check off, and scoring 110 plus points is one of them. And I haven't been able to check that one off. Yet. Now once I do, will Cascadia still get regular playtime? For the physical version, I honestly don't know. But what I do know is it will be staying in my collection. It's a great gateway game for a few reasons. Quick to teach, light on rules, and just puzzly enough for even non-gamers to latch onto. So, is it award worthy? Yeah, I think it is. It's got broad appeal, a clean design, and a pinecone mechanic in it that's just a touch of...
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about the nature tokens. You see these here pinecone tokens? They let you bend the rules and mix and match tiles and animals. You may or may not have noticed that some of the tiles only have one terrain type and one animal icon on them. So they're not nearly as diverse as the others and a bit more restrictive. These are called keystone tiles. And once you place the matching animal token on them, you get a nature token. Now you can hold on to these nature tokens because each nature token you have is worth 1 point at the end of the game. But you can use them in-game instead to either mix and match a tile token combo or wipe some or all of the animal tokens from the row in hopes of getting one that you want. And if you don't get the one you want, you can do it again and again as long as you have the nature tokens to spend. And that is a nice option to have. Now, if you can't place your animal token, either because none of your tiles have a matching icon or you just don't want to place it, it gets discarded. But since animal tokens make up the majority of your points, you really don't want to let that happen. Now you know how to play the game with just one more thing on scoring. Your largest land area of each of the 5 terrain types scores your points for each tile in that area. In a solo game, if you manage to connect 7 tiles of any land type, you get 2 bonus points for that. In multiplayer, it varies depending on player count. 2 players, 2 points. 3 or 4 players, 3 points. And now you can decide for yourself whether or not this is a game for you, because you just learned how to play the game. And if you like this format of learning how to play a game while listening to a story, then please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Maybe even drop a comment down below. Now actually, before you go, let me give you something to think about. And your wallet may just thank you for it later. If you're into this hobby, you've probably been tempted by a shiny new Kickstarter or GameFound campaign. The ones with the miniatures the size of your cat, a rulebook that could double as a coffee table, and a $150 plus price tag. It's easy to get swept up in the hype. Stretch goals, FOMO, deluxe everything. But let me ask you this. Which games do you actually pull off the shelf and play the most? Which ones are collecting dust like Aunt Fanny's fruitcake that you end up tossing away because even the local food banks are like,
No thanks.
Now look, Kickstarter and GameFound make it hard to assess value, especially when the game's still in development and the FOMO is palpable. But here's the thing. Most of the really successful campaigns, the ones that actually get the game right, 9 out of 10 of them end up at retail anyway. And the ones that don't, well, not all games are for all people. So there's going to be people that back the game that'll end up parting ways with it. So before you click pledge now on your next big box game, take a second look at your shelf and ask, what's really giving me the most joy per dollar? Because sometimes the quiet, cozy game you almost skipped ends up changing the way you look at games. And that big, beautiful campaign, the one down on one knee, promising to be the one, might just be a hideous troll in disguise. And if you've made it this far, you can slay that troll by hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Especially if you're interested in my next video on why I prefer the digital version over the physical version. And no, it's not the setup time. See you next video.